when Dr. James Collins delivered Luna's foal and found himself staring into otherworldly blue eyes that seemed to peer straight into his soul, his 20 years of veterinary expertise crumbled into dust. The strange, chirping creature with silver markings that pulsed like starlight wasn't just an anomaly, it was impossible. The storm raged outside Willow Creek stables, thunder cracking like a whip across the midnight sky. "Doctor." James Collins gripped his steering wheel tighter as his truck navigated the muddy country roads of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. The wipers fought a losing battle against the downpour, and despite the heater blasting, a chill ran down his spine. 20 years as a large animal veterinarian had taught him to trust his instincts, and tonight something felt different. The call had come just as he was settling in for the night. Elizabeth Morgan's voice, trembling with urgency. "Luna's gone into labor early. Dr. Collins, something doesn't seem right." Luna was Elizabeth's prized Arabian mare, rescued 3 years ago from a neglect case that had made local headlines. The horse had arrived at Willow Creek skeletal, her coat dull, eyes vacant, a shadow of the magnificent creature she should have been. Elizabeth had poured her heart, soul, and savings into rehabilitating Luna, spending nights in the stable during those critical first weeks, hand-feeding the traumatized animal, singing softly until Luna would finally eat. No one had known Luna was pregnant when Elizabeth rescued her. The discovery came months later, a surprise that transformed into hope, a new beginning rising from Luna's tragic past. James pulled into the stable yard, grabbing his medical bag from the passenger seat before sprinting through the rain. The barn door flew open, warm light spilling onto the wet ground as Elizabeth's silhouette appeared. "She's in the back stall," Elizabeth said, her auburn hair falling loose from its usual neat bun, face pale with worry. "Her contractions started 2 hours ago, but something's wrong, James. She's making sounds I've never heard before." The familiar scent of hay, horse, and leather enveloped James as he followed Elizabeth down the center aisle. Luna's distressed whinnies echoed against the wooden walls. Other horses shifted nervously in their stalls, sensing the tension. "Has she broken water?" James asked, rolling up his sleeves. "Yes, about 40 minutes ago." Elizabeth's voice cracked slightly. At 52, she'd spent her entire adult life with horses, running Willow Creek after inheriting it from her father. She wasn't one to panic unnecessarily. They reached Luna's stall, and James's medical training immediately kicked in. The Arabian mare lay on her side in the fresh straw, sides heaving, eyes wide with pain and fear. A stable hand, young Tommy Watson, knelt by her head, murmuring soothing words while stroking her neck. "And I've got clean towels, hot water, everything you asked for on the phone," Elizabeth said, gesturing to supplies arranged neatly nearby. James knelt beside Luna, running his hands along her distended belly, frowning at what he felt. "The foal's position is unusual, I can feel—" "Wait." He paused, brow furrowing as his experienced hands detected something he couldn't immediately identify. Luna let out another cry, more powerful contractions visibly rippling across her body. "We're going to need to help her," James said, pulling on shoulder-length obstetrical gloves. "Tommy, keep her head calm. Elizabeth, I need you to help me guide this foal out." What followed was 30 minutes of intense struggle. Luna pushed valiantly, her powerful body trembling with effort. James worked methodically, guiding, supporting, encouraging the birth along, yet growing increasingly confused by what he was feeling. "I can see something," Elizabeth gasped as a small form began to emerge. The barn fell silent except for Luna's labored breathing and the steady drumming of rain on the roof. James stared, his medical mind struggling to process what his eyes were seeing. The creature that slipped into his waiting hands was unmistakably alive. but it was like nothing he'd ever encountered in his 2 decades of veterinary practice. Smaller than a typical foal, its skin was a mottled pink with patches of fine, almost translucent hair. Its head shape was wrong, too round, its muzzle too short. Most disturbing were the eyes, large, alert, and a startling shade of blue that seemed to look straight through him. What creature is this?" The words escaped James before he could stop them, his professional composure momentarily shattered. Elizabeth's hand flew to her mouth, her eyes wide with shock. Is it even a horse?" Tommy crossed himself, whispering something under his breath. The creature in James's hands made a soft, chirping sound. Not a whinny, not a neigh, something entirely foreign to the stable environment. Luna, exhausted from her labor, turned her head to look at her offspring, and to James's astonishment, gently nickered in response. The storm outside intensified, a particularly violent crack of lightning illuminating the stall through the small window, casting the scene in stark, surreal contrast. In that flash of brightness, James caught details he'd missed, details that made his scientific mind reel with impossible questions. "I need to clean it. Examine it properly," he managed to say, his voice steadier than he felt. "Elizabeth, call Dr. Whitaker at the university. Use my phone. Tell her it's an emergency, like nothing we've ever seen before." As Elizabeth took his phone with trembling fingers, James cradled the strange creature, feeling its strong heartbeat against his palms. What had just entered the world, and what would happen when others discovered its existence? Dawn broke over Willow Creek stables, pale light seeping through the barn windows. The storm had passed, leaving behind a preternatural stillness. Dr. James Collins hadn't left Luna's stall all night, his eyes burning from exhaustion as he meticulously documented everything about the creature now nursing contentedly at Luna's side. "Her vitals are stable," he murmured, more to himself than to Elizabeth, who sat on an overturned bucket nearby, looking equally drained. Temperature slightly elevated compared to a normal foal, but consistent over the last few hours. Elizabeth nodded, her gaze fixed on the peculiar offspring. "What do you think it is, James? Really?" He shook his head slowly, scientific training battling with what his eyes were telling him. "I don't know. It has equine characteristics, certainly. The limb structure is similar, though the proportions are off. But then there's..." He gestured vaguely toward the creature's face, where those unnerving blue eyes watched them with an intelligence that seemed impossible in a newborn of any species. The creature's coat was drying now, revealing a pattern James had never seen, silvery markings that seemed to shimmer when the light hit them just right, like fish scales catching sunlight underwater. Its ears were too elongated, almost tapered to points, and along its spine ran a delicate ridge that resembled neither mane nor fin, but something in between. "Dr. Whitaker should be here within the hour," Elizabeth said, checking her watch. Rebecca Whitaker was a respected zoologist from Penn State University, someone James had collaborated with occasionally on unusual cases. Tommy appeared at the stall door, clutching a steaming mug. "Brought you some coffee, Doc. Any change?" James accepted the mug gratefully. "Thanks, Tommy. No significant changes, which is actually good news. Whatever this little one is, it's stable." "My cousin's already called twice," Tommy said hesitantly. Word's getting around town that something strange was born at Willow Creek." Elizabeth straightened, suddenly alert. "You told someone?" Tommy's face flushed. "No, Mum, I swear. But Mike Johnson was delivering feed to the Henderson farm next door and saw Dr. Collins' truck here all night with the lights on in the barn. People are curious." James and Elizabeth exchanged worried glances. Small towns thrived on gossip, and something like this wouldn't stay secret for long. We need to control the narrative, James said firmly, setting down his coffee. Until we understand what we're dealing with, the fewer people who know, the better. As if sensing the tension, Luna nickered softly, nudging her foal with her nose. The creature responded with that strange chirping sound again, a noise that sent involuntary shivers down James's spine. But what happens if the wrong people find out? Elizabeth voiced the concern that had been growing in James's mind throughout the night. Government agencies, research facilities, they might take it away. The thought made James's stomach clench. He'd seen how scientific curiosity could sometimes override compassion. A creature this unusual would be a research goldmine, potentially subjected to endless tests and examinations. One step at a time, he counseled, though his own mind raced with contingency plans. First, we need Rebecca's expertise to help us understand what we're dealing with. The sound of tires on gravel announced a new arrival. Elizabeth peered out the small window. "It's Dr. Whitaker," she confirmed, relief evident in her voice. Dr. Rebecca Whitaker was a tall, imposing woman with silver-streaked black hair pulled back in a severe bun. Her reputation as one of the East Coast's foremost experts on mammalian biology was well-earned through decades of fieldwork and research. She carried herself with the confident purpose of someone accustomed to being the smartest person in any room. "James," she greeted him briskly, setting down a heavy case of equipment. Her eyes darted to Elizabeth with professional courtesy. "Mrs. Morgan, thank you for coming so quickly, Rebecca," James said, leading her toward Luna's stall. "Your message was intriguing, to say the least." Rebecca adjusted her glasses. "You know I don't appreciate hyperbole. So I'm assuming when you said, 'like nothing we've ever seen before,' you weren't exaggerating." "See for yourself," James replied, opening the stall door. Rebecca stepped inside, her composure slipping for just an instant as she caught sight of the creature. She recovered quickly, professional mask sliding back into place as she knelt beside Luna, who watched warily but allowed the examination of her foal. For several minutes, Rebecca said nothing, her hands moving with practiced precision over the creature's body, measuring, probing, documenting. When she finally spoke, her voice was controlled but tight, with barely contained excitement. "In 30 years of zoological research, I've never—" She paused, recalibrating. "James, this animal doesn't conform to any known taxonomic classification." "So what are we looking at?" Elizabeth asked, the question hanging heavy in the air. Rebecca's scientific mind seemed to struggle with the answer. "But if I didn't know better," she said slowly, "I'd say we're looking at something that shouldn't exist. A hybrid of some kind, but—" She shook her head. "The genetic distance between horses and any species that could produce these characteristics should make such a hybrid impossible." The creature chirped again, as if commenting on their confusion, and for the first time in his career, James Collins found himself completely out of his depth. By mid-afternoon, Willow Creek Stables had transformed into an impromptu research station. Dr. Whitaker had called in 2 trusted colleagues, Dr. Amir Patel, a geneticist, and Sophie Chen, her graduate research assistant. They arrived with cases of sophisticated equipment, converting an empty tack room into a makeshift laboratory. James observed from the doorway as they processed blood samples drawn from both Luna and her unusual offspring. The creature had shown remarkable development in just 12 hours, already attempting to stand on wobbly legs, far faster than any normal foal. "The cellular structure is extraordinary," Dr. Patel murmured, eyes fixed to his microscope. "I'm seeing organelles that don't match any known equine patterns." Dr. Whitaker nodded, typing rapid notes on her laptop. "The DNA sequencing will tell us more, but preliminary analysis suggests genetic markers I can't identify." "Could it be some kind of mutation?" James asked. the veterinarian in him still searching for a rational explanation. Mutations don't create entirely new biological systems, Dr. Whitaker replied, her voice betraying rare excitement beneath her professional demeanor. This is something else entirely. Sophie looked up from her station. The protein analysis is complete. You need to see this. She turned her tablet toward the others, displaying a complex molecular diagram. These protein structures don't match anything in our database. The scientific implications were staggering, but James's concerns were more immediate. How is this affecting Luna? Could there be health risks we haven't anticipated? She's showing no signs of distress, Dr. Whitaker assured him. In fact, her maternal behavior is textbook perfect. Whatever this offspring is, she recognizes it as hers. Elizabeth appeared at the doorway, tension evident in the lines around her eyes. We have a situation outside, she said quietly. News vans, 2 of them, and a crowd is gathering at the end of the driveway. James's stomach dropped. Already? How? Social media, Sophie offered without looking up from her work. Indeed, Tommy posted something cryptic this morning about miracles at Willow Creek. It was vague, but enough to start rumors. Elizabeth nodded grimly. He admitted it when I confronted him. Said he didn't name the creature specifically, just that something blessed and unusual had happened. Blessed? Dr. Patel raised an eyebrow. That's how some people in town are already framing it, Elizabeth explained. Like it's some kind of divine sign. James rubbed his temples, feeling a headache building. We need to contain this. If people start making religious connections, it'll draw even more attention. Too late. Elizabeth held up her phone, showing a local community Facebook page where residents were speculating wildly. Some claimed an angel had been born in horse form. Others suggested government experiments gone wrong. A few comments even hinted at alien involvement. This is exactly what I was afraid of, Dr. Whitaker said, removing her glasses to massage the bridge of her nose. Mass hysteria makes scientific work impossible. A commotion outside drew their attention. Through the barn window, James could see more vehicles pulling up, not just news vans now, but regular cars too. People were gathering, some carrying cameras, others what looked suspiciously like religious symbols. I've called Sheriff Davis, Elizabeth said. He's sending deputies to maintain order, but he's also asking what exactly is going on. I don't know what to tell him. James made a quick decision. Tell him it's a rare genetic anomaly that we're studying. Nothing supernatural, nothing extraterrestrial. Just an unusual foal that requires scientific examination. Will he believe that? Dr. Patel asked skeptically. Frank Davis is a practical man, James replied. He'll accept a scientific explanation, even if it's vague, over wild speculation. A sharp cry from Luna's stall caught everyone's attention. Not the normal sound of a mare, but something more urgent. James rushed down the barn aisle, the others close behind. Luna was standing protectively over her foal, ears pinned back, eyes wide with alarm. The creature itself was fully upright now, its strange blue eyes fixed on the small window where curious faces had appeared, pressing against the glass. "Get away from there!" Elizabeth shouted, rushing to pull down the stall's privacy screen. Too late. Gasps and exclamations erupted from outside as the onlookers caught their first glimpse of the creature. Camera flashes sparked through the window before Elizabeth managed to block the view. "This is getting out of hand," James muttered, checking on the foal, which seemed agitated by the commotion. Its silvery markings appeared to pulse slightly, a physiological response James couldn't begin to explain. Dr. Whitaker's phone rang. She answered, listened for a moment, then her face hardened. "Already? That's impossible." "Yes, I understand." "Thank you for the warning." She hung up, her expression grave. "What is it?" James asked, though part of him didn't want to know. That was my department chair. Somehow, word has reached federal level. The National Institutes of Health and Department of Agriculture are both sending representatives. They'll be here by morning. The implications hung heavy in the air. Government involvement meant potential loss of control over the situation, over the creature's fate. There's something else, Dr. Whitaker continued, lowering her voice. A private research corporation called Nexus Biologics has also expressed interest. They specialize in genetic innovations, often with military applications. How did they even hear about this so quickly? Elizabeth demanded. Money, Dr. Patel said simply. People talk when the price is right. Someone probably sent a photo to the highest bidder. James looked at the creature, now huddled against Luna's side. Despite its alien appearance, there was something undeniably vulnerable about it. A newborn finding comfort in its mother's presence. The thought of it being taken away for endless testing made his chest tighten. We need to make some decisions, he said quietly. Before morning comes, and those decisions are made for us. Night fell over Willow Creek stables, but sleep eluded everyone involved with the extraordinary creature. Sheriff Davis and his deputies had established a perimeter, keeping the growing crowd at bay, but curiosity seekers still lingered at the property edge, headlights illuminating the darkness. Some had set up camp, determined to witness whatever miracle or monstrosity had emerged within the barn walls. Inside Elizabeth's farmhouse kitchen, a council of sorts had assembled around the worn oak table. James nursed a cup of strong black coffee, his third since dinner. Dr. Whitaker studied data on her laptop, while Dr. Patel and Sophie compared notes in hushed voices. Elizabeth paced the length of the room, stopping occasionally to peer out the window toward the barn, where Tommy stood guard. The sequencing results are back, Dr. Patel announced, breaking the tense silence. And they're, well, unprecedented. How so? James asked, leaning forward. Dr. Patel spread several printouts on the table. Luna's DNA is normal equine genetic material, but the foal... He hesitated, choosing his words carefully. Approximately 82% matches standard equine markers, but the remaining 18% doesn't correspond to any known terrestrial species. The word terrestrial hung in the air, nobody willing to address its implication. That's scientifically impossible, Dr. Whitaker stated flatly, though her voice lacked conviction. Cross-species hybridization has limits based on genetic compatibility. I'm not suggesting hybridization, Dr. Patel replied. This looks more like genetic engineering, extremely advanced genetic engineering. The non-equine DNA segments are perfectly integrated, with no signs of rejection or instability. Elizabeth stopped her pacing. Are you saying someone created this creature deliberately? I'm saying I don't have a natural explanation for what we're seeing, Dr. Patel admitted. Sophie, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. Eddie, there's something else you should know. I've been monitoring the foal's development. It's growing at approximately 3 times the normal rate of equine maturation. That's consistent with my observations, James confirmed. Its muscle coordination is already at a level we'd expect from a week-old foal, not one born yesterday. Dr. Whitaker closed her laptop with finality. These findings make government interest inevitable. When those agents arrive tomorrow, they'll have the authority to quarantine this entire facility and seize the creature for national security reasons. They can't just take it, Elizabeth protested, though her expression revealed she knew better. Actually, they can, Dr. Whitaker countered, under at least 3 different federal statutes involving unidentified biological entities. And Nexus Biologics will be right behind them, Dr. Patel added grimly. Their lawyers will find a way to claim research rights. I've seen their methods before. They're ruthless when they find something of potential value." James stood abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. "We're talking about a living creature, not a laboratory specimen. It has a mother. It feels pain, fear." He gestured toward the barn. "You've all seen how Luna protects it, how they've bonded. I understand your concern, James," Dr. Whitaker said, her tone softening slightly. "But we're dealing with something that could have profound scientific implications, perhaps even national security implications. All the more reason not to let it disappear into some government black site," James argued. Or worse, a corporate lab where profit drives the research." A heavy silence descended on the room as each person wrestled with the ethical dilemma before them. Finally, Elizabeth spoke, her voice quiet but resolute. "I have a property in the Allegheny Mountains, a hunting cabin my father left me. It's remote, accessible only by a logging road few people know about." She met James's eyes. "We could move them tonight." The suggestion hung in the air, weighted with its implications. "That would be obstruction of a federal investigation," Dr. Whitaker warned, "possibly even a national security offense." "Only if they determine there's something to investigate," James countered. "Right now, all that exists are rumors and speculation." Sophie glanced between them nervously. "What about the science? This creature could represent the most significant biological discovery in human history. Science should serve life, not the other way around," James replied firmly. "We can continue studying the foal, but on terms that respect its welfare and Luna's maternal rights." Dr. Patel had been silent, but now he nodded slowly. "I've seen what happens when discovery becomes more important than ethics. It never ends well." He looked at Dr. Whitaker. "Rebecca, you know I'm right." Dr. Whitaker removed her glasses, suddenly looking older and more tired. "I've spent my career pursuing knowledge, following evidence wherever it leads. But I've also seen good research corrupted by politics and profit." She sighed deeply. "What you're proposing is professionally risky for all of us." "More risky than ignoring our conscience?" Elizabeth challenged. Outside, a distant sound of vehicles approaching broke the tension. Through the window, they could see new headlights moving up the county road toward the stable. "Decision time," James said quietly. "Those could be early government arrivals. Once they're here, our options disappear." 5 pairs of eyes met across the table, a silent understanding passing between them. The choice they made now would change all their lives irrevocably. Dr. Whitaker finally nodded. "We'll need the right equipment to transport them safely and a way to avoid the crowd at the front gate." "There's an old fire road behind the north pasture," Elizabeth said, already reaching for her keys. "Tommy knows it well. He can help us." The operation took on the hushed urgency of a military extraction. Tommy backed Elizabeth's horse trailer to the barn's rear entrance while the others worked inside, gathering essential supplies and preparing Luna and her foal for transport. Dr. Patel had sedated Luna with a mild tranquilizer, just enough to keep her calm during the journey without affecting her ability to stand. "The foal is another matter," James whispered, watching as the creature paced around Luna, those unsettling blue eyes seeming to understand exactly what was happening. Standard sedatives might have unpredictable effects given its unique physiology. "We'll have to manage without," Dr. Whitaker agreed, packing microscope slides and biological samples into a specialized cooler. "Based on its behavior, I think it will follow Luna willingly." Sheriff Davis stood watch at the barn door, his weathered face troubled. After 27 years of law enforcement in Bedford County, Frank Davis had seen plenty of strange situations, but nothing that compared to this. When Elizabeth had called him privately to explain their plan, he'd wrestled with his legal obligations before ultimately deciding to help. "The two black SUVs just pulled up out front," he reported. "Government plates. They're talking to my deputies now." "Sooner than expected," Dr. Whitaker muttered. "We need to move." Loading Luna into the trailer proved surprisingly smooth. Despite her sedation, the mare seemed to understand the need for quiet cooperation. The foal, however, hesitated at the trailer ramp, its strange blue eyes fixed on James as if seeking reassurance. "It's okay," he found himself saying, though he felt foolish talking to the creature as if it could understand. "We're taking you somewhere safe." To everyone's astonishment, the foal chirped softly and walked up the ramp without further coaxing. Once inside with Luna, it pressed close to its mother, those silver markings along its body pulsing faintly in the dim light. "Did you see that?" Sophie whispered. "Oh, did understood you." James had no scientific explanation for what had just happened, but there was no time to dwell on it. "Let's go," he said, securing the trailer door. Elizabeth took the wheel of her truck with James in the passenger seat. Dr. Whitaker, Dr. Patel, and Sophie followed in Dr. Patel's SUV, loaded with research equipment. Sheriff Davis would remain behind to delay the federal agents as long as possible. "And remember," the sheriff said through the truck's open window, "stick to the fire road until you hit Miller's Creek, then take the logging trail north. I'll call my cousin at the ranger station to make sure that area stays clear tonight." Elizabeth nodded gratefully. "Thank you, Frank. I don't know how to—" "Don't thank me," he interrupted gruffly. "Far as I know, you're moving your horse to your cabin because of all the commotion." "That's all I know? That's all I'm saying if asked." With a final nod, Elizabeth started the engine. The small convoy moved silently across the back pasture, headlights off, guided only by the three-quarter moon hanging low in the sky. Tommy had already gone ahead to unlock the old fire road gate and now stood watching them pass, giving a solemn salute as the vehicles disappeared into the tree line. Inside the trailer, James could hear Luna's occasional soft nickering, oddly interspersed with the foal's unique chirping sounds. Through the small observation window, he caught glimpses of the creature's silvery markings glowing more intensely now, casting an ethereal light throughout the trailer interior. "Something's happening back there," he said, strain evident in his voice. Elizabeth glanced in the rearview mirror. "The whole trailer is glowing." "What's it doing?" "I don't know. Pull over. I need to check on them." The moment Elizabeth stopped the truck, James was out the door, rushing to the trailer's side panel. Dr. Whitaker pulled up behind them, she and the others quickly joining him. What they saw inside left them speechless. The foal stood in the center of the trailer, its entire body now illuminated with pulsing blue-silver light. More astonishing still, the light seemed to extend to Luna, running in vein-like patterns across the mare's body as well. Yet Luna showed no signs of distress. In fact, she appeared extraordinarily calm, almost trance-like. "It's establishing some kind of connection," Dr. Whitaker whispered, her scientific skepticism momentarily abandoned in the face of the inexplicable sight. "Look at Luna's injuries," Sophie pointed out, her voice trembling with excitement. James focused on the mare's left flank, where an old scar from her rescue had always marred her coat. Before their eyes, the scar tissue was fading, replaced by smooth hide and new hair growth. "It's healing her," Dr. Patel said in disbelief. A sudden crack of a branch in the nearby woods shattered the moment. All heads turned toward the sound, hearts pounding. "Probably just a deer," Elizabeth whispered, though her hand moved instinctively to the rifle mounted in her truck cab. The foal's glow dimmed immediately, as if responding to the potential threat. Through the trailer window, those intelligent blue eyes stared directly at the darkened forest edge. "We need to keep moving," James urged, unnerved by both the creature's abilities and the possibility they were being followed. Back on the road, the convoy continued its careful journey through the pitch-black forest. The fire road was barely more than a dirt track, rutted and overgrown from years of disuse. Every bump and jolt made James wince, imagining Luna and the foal being tossed around. Yet each time he checked through the observation window, he found them standing calmly, the foal's glow now a subdued shimmer. "What do you make of what we just saw?" Elizabeth asked, her knuckles white on the steering wheel. James shook his head slowly. "Nothing in veterinary medicine explains it. Nothing in any medicine explains it. It's developing new abilities by the hour," she observed. "What else might it be capable of?" The question hung unanswered as they approached a fork in the road. Elizabeth took the right branch, the path growing even narrower, branches scraping against the sides of the trailer. "Almost to Miller's Creek," she said. "Once we cross, we'll be—" Her words cut off as the headlights of Dr. Patel's SUV behind them suddenly illuminated a roadblock ahead, a fallen tree trunk blocking their path completely. "That wasn't there yesterday," Elizabeth said sharply, bringing the truck to a halt. "And I drove this road, checking trail cameras. Someone put it there deliberately." James's blood ran cold. "They knew we might come this way." Dr. Whitaker approached from the SUV behind them, flashlight in hand. "We can't go around it. The ground's too soft on either side. The trailer would get stuck immediately." "We can't go back either," Dr. Patel added, looking over his shoulder. "And I think I saw headlights on the road behind us before we turned." James felt the situation slipping out of control. They were trapped in the forest with a creature of unknown origin, potential government agents closing in, and no clear path forward. Inside the trailer, the foal began to glow brighter again, its chirping taking on a more urgent tone. Through the window, James saw it pressing its muzzle against the trailer wall, pointing persistently toward the dense forest to their left. "I think," James said slowly, hardly believing his own words, "it's trying to show us another way out." "You can't seriously be suggesting we follow directions from—" Dr. Whitaker trailed off, unable to properly categorize the creature, gesturing emphatically from inside the trailer. "Do you have a better idea?" James countered, already retrieving Luna's halter from the truck. "We're cornered, and whoever put that tree there will be coming to check if their trap worked." Elizabeth studied the dense forest where the foal was indicating. "There's no trail there, not even a game path. The trailer won't make it." "Then we unhitch and go on horseback," James decided. "Luna can carry supplies, and we can lead the foal." Dr. Patel looked skeptical. "What about all our equipment? The samples?" "Take what's essential for basic analysis," Dr. Whitaker instructed, her practical nature asserting itself despite her reservations. "Everything else can be replaced." The next 10 minutes passed in a flurry of activity. James and Elizabeth unloaded Luna, who emerged from the trailer surprisingly alert despite her sedation. The foal bounded out after her, those strange silver markings lighting their work area with an ethereal glow. Sophie and Dr. Patel transferred critical samples and compact equipment into saddlebags, while Dr. Whitaker used her satellite phone to send encrypted research data to a secure server. "Headlights!" Elizabeth hissed suddenly, pointing back down the road they'd traveled. 2 pinpoints of light were visible through the trees, moving steadily closer. "No more time," James announced, helping Elizabeth secure the last of the supplies to Luna's back. The mare stood patiently, seemingly untroubled by either the unusual burden or the increasing luminescence of her offspring. Dr. Whitaker made a final decision, retrieving a small metal case from Dr. Patel's vehicle. "The genetic samples go with us. Nothing else matters as much. Without the benefit of a trail, the group plunged into the forest, Elizabeth leading Luna by the halter while James brought up the rear. The foal trotted confidently ahead, its glow illuminating their path through the dense undergrowth. Dr. Whitaker, Dr. Patel, and Sophie followed in a line, each carrying what equipment they could manage. "Stay close," James whispered. "And if we get separated in these woods at night?" No one needed him to finish the thought. The Allegheny forest was vast and unforgiving, home to black bears, coyotes, and terrain that could break an ankle with one misstep. Remarkably, the foal seemed to know exactly where it was going, picking a path that, while not obvious to human eyes, proved navigable even for Luna's larger frame. It chirped occasionally, looking back as if to ensure everyone was following. "It's leading us somewhere specific," Sophie observed, her voice hushed with wonder. "This isn't random." After 20 minutes of difficult travel, they emerged into a small clearing where moonlight filtered through the canopy. James checked behind them nervously. But there was no sign of pursuit, at least not yet. "We should rest for a moment," Elizabeth suggested, noticing Dr. Patel's labored breathing. The geneticist was in his 60s and clearly struggling with the rough terrain. "Just briefly," James agreed, helping Luna shrug off some of her burden. "The more distance we put between us and the road, the better." While the others caught their breath, James approached the foal, which was drinking from a small stream at the clearing's edge. Up close, the creature's otherworldly nature was even more apparent. Its body had developed more since that morning, the proportions shifting subtly towards something both equine and not. The ridge along its spine had grown more pronounced, and when it turned to look at him, James noticed a new feature, tiny filaments, almost like fiber optic threads, extending from its mane. "What are you?" he whispered, not expecting an answer. The foal regarded him steadily, then did something that sent James stumbling backward in shock. It raised its front hoof and deliberately drew a pattern in the soft earth. Not random scratchings, but a precise geometric shape. "Dr. Whitaker," James called, his voice strangled. "You need to see this." The others quickly gathered around, staring in disbelief at the perfect equilateral triangle the foal had drawn, with smaller circles at each point. "That's impossible," Dr. Whitaker breathed. "This level of cognition, of symbolic thinking." The foal chirped, adding another line to its drawing, a straight path leading from the triangle toward what appeared to be a mountain shape. "It's making a map," Sophie realized, her scientific training momentarily overwhelmed by childlike wonder. "It's showing us where to go." Dr. Patel had pulled out his phone, using its camera to document the drawing. "And the implications for interspecies communication alone are—" "Hold on," Elizabeth interrupted, pointing at the drawing. "I recognize this, that triangular formation with the mountain beyond. It's Devil's Backbone Ridge. There's a series of caves there." The foal chirped more insistently, pawing at the drawing. "How far?" James asked. "Maybe 3 miles north of here," Elizabeth replied. "Difficult terrain, but passable. My father used to take me hunting there as a girl." A distant sound, voices carrying through the still night air, made them all freeze. "They're tracking us," Dr. Whitaker said grimly. "Probably with thermal imaging." The foal's markings pulsed brighter, and it moved to stand beside Luna, pressing its body against the mare's side. Before their eyes, the glow seemed to envelop both animals, then suddenly diminished until they were barely visible even in the moonlight. "Did it just—" Sophie couldn't finish her sentence. "It's masking their heat signatures," Dr. Patel said, awe overtaking scientific skepticism. But how? There was no time to theorize. James made a swift decision. "Elizabeth, lead us to these caves. Everyone else, stay close and quiet." As they resumed their journey, the forest grew denser, the terrain more challenging. Twice they had to help Luna navigate particularly difficult slopes, the mare showing remarkable trust as they guided her over fallen logs and across small ravines. The foal moved with increasing confidence, sometimes disappearing briefly only to reappear ahead, chirping softly to guide them forward. An hour into their trek, as they crested a small rise, Elizabeth suddenly raised her hand for them to stop. Below, barely visible through the trees, flashlight beams swept back and forth, search parties combing the forest. "They've got the area surrounded," she whispered. "There must be a dozen teams down there." James felt a moment of despair. They were outnumbered, out-equipped, and running out of options. Even if they reached the caves, how long could they possibly hide? A soft touch against his hand startled him. The foal had approached silently, those uncanny blue eyes meeting his with what could only be described as determination. It pressed its muzzle against his palm, and James felt a strange, tingling sensation, followed by a flood of, not exactly images, but impressions. Safety, shelter, a way forward. "I think it's trying to communicate with me," he said, his voice barely audible. "Telepathically." Dr. Whitaker's scientific mind clearly struggled with the concept. "Not exactly. It's more like emotional impressions. It's not afraid. It feels certain." The foal turned, heading northwest away from the search parties, its path now taking them along a precarious ridge overlooking a deep ravine. Luna followed without hesitation, picking her way carefully along the narrow ledge. "We'll be completely exposed up there," Dr. Patel warned. "We'll also be above their search grid," Elizabeth countered. "And this ridge curves around toward Devil's Backbone." It was a desperate gamble, but they were out of alternatives. One by one, they followed the foal onto the ridge, hugging the rock face to their right, while trying not to look at the sheer drop to their left. The moon slipped behind clouds, plunging them into near-total darkness. Only the foal's faint glow, dimmed to a barely perceptible shimmer, provided any illumination. The wind picked up, masking the sounds of their movement, but also threatening their balance on the narrow path. "Almost there," Elizabeth encouraged, though the strain was evident in her voice. "The caves should be just around this bend." As they rounded the curve in the ridge, the clouds parted momentarily, revealing their destination. Devil's Backbone stood before them, a jagged formation of limestone thrust upward by ancient geological forces. And at its base, just as Elizabeth had promised, the black mouths of several caves were visible. But between them and safety lay a gap in the ridge, a section that had collapsed, creating a 6-foot chasm over the ravine below. "We can't jump that," Sophie said, voicing what they all were thinking. "Not with Luna, not in the dark." The foal, however, had other ideas. It approached the gap, studying it intently. Then, to everyone's astonishment, it reared up on its hind legs, a motion no day-old foal should be capable of, and brought its front hooves down hard on the edge of the chasm. A shockwave of blue-silver energy pulsed from the impact point, racing across the gap. Where it passed, the very air seemed to solidify, creating a shimmering bridge of light spanning the chasm. "That's..." Dr. Whitaker couldn't find words to complete her thought. The foal stepped confidently onto the light bridge, crossing to the other side before turning to look back at them expectantly. James exchanged glances with the others, reading the same mixture of fear and wonder in their eyes that he felt himself. "Do we trust it?" Dr. Patel asked quietly. James looked at the mysterious creature waiting for them across the gap, then back at the flashlight still searching the forest below. I think," he said finally, "we already made that decision when we left the stables." The light bridge held. One by one, they crossed the chasm, Luna last and most hesitant, but the mare's trust in her foal overrode her natural caution. The moment they had all reached safety, the bridge dissolved into particles of light that drifted away like fireflies before disappearing completely. That should slow down any pursuit," Elizabeth said, glancing back at the now impassable gap. The cave entrance loomed before them, a gaping wound in the mountainside. The foal trotted inside without hesitation, its silvery glow illuminating rough limestone walls that soon gave way to a larger chamber. Luna followed, ducking her head beneath the low entrance arch. "We need to be careful," Elizabeth warned. "These cave systems can be extensive and confusing, easy to get lost." Dr. Whitaker pulled a small LED lantern from her pack, casting a more conventional light around the chamber. "Fascinating geological formations," she remarked, her scientific curiosity momentarily overriding the extraordinary circumstances. The foal continued deeper into the cave, chirping insistently for them to follow. Its light revealed a passage leading downward, tight but navigable. "I don't like this," Dr. Patel muttered. "What if it's leading us somewhere we can't get back from?" "It hasn't steered us wrong yet," James replied, though he shared the concern. Every step took them further from the world they understood, into one where light bridges could span chasms and newborn creatures could draw maps. The passage descended for nearly 100 yards before opening into a cathedral-like cavern. Water droplets from stalactites caught the foal's luminescence, transforming the chamber into a sparkling wonderland. A small underground stream ran along one side, providing fresh water. "This is perfect," Sophie breathed. We can rest here, maybe even set up a temporary base." They unburdened Luna, arranging their limited supplies along the dry sections of the cavern floor. The mare immediately went to drink from the stream, while the foal began exploring the chamber, sniffing at the walls with evident curiosity. Dr. Whitaker wasted no time setting up basic equipment. "We should run some new tests," she said, unpacking a portable microscope. The foal's abilities are developing at an exponential rate. "We should also consider our next move," Elizabeth added practically. "This is a good hiding place, but we can't stay here indefinitely." James was about to respond when he noticed the foal's behavior had changed. It stood motionless near the far wall of the cavern, its head tilted as if listening to something only it could hear. Then deliberately, it began to scrape at the limestone with its hoof. "What's it doing now?" Dr. Patel asked, moving closer. The foal's scraping became more insistent, removing centuries of mineral deposits to reveal something underneath, something that shouldn't have been there. Geometric patterns emerged, carved into the stone wall and filled with a material that began to glow in response to the foal's proximity. "That's impossible," Dr. Whitaker whispered, her lantern illuminating what was unmistakably an artificial design. These caves were documented in the 1950s. Nobody reported anything like this. The foal continued clearing the wall, revealing more of the pattern, concentric circles with lines radiating outward, similar to but more complex than the drawing it had created in the forest clearing. "It's not random," Sophie said, photographing the design with her phone. "These are deliberate symbols, maybe even language. Look at the material in the carvings," Dr. Patel pointed out. "It's responding to the foal's presence, changing color, intensity." Indeed, the substance filling the carved patterns had shifted from a dull gray to the same blue-silver hue as the foal's markings, pulsing in a rhythm that matched the creature's own luminescence. Elizabeth ran her fingers lightly over the symbols. "These carvings are old, very old. Look how the limestone has grown over them in places." "How old are we talking?" James asked, feeling a chill that had nothing to do with the cave's temperature. I'm not a geologist, but given the stalactite formation rates in this region, hundreds, maybe thousands of years, the implications hung heavy in the air. Whatever this discovery represented, it predated modern human activity in the area by centuries. The foal chirped excitedly, pressing its muzzle directly against the central circle in the design. A vibration ran through the cavern floor, subtle but unmistakable. Dust and small stones fell from the ceiling as the entire wall began to recede, revealing a hidden chamber beyond. "It's a door," Sophie gasped, "a hidden door that responds to the foal." Luna nickered nervously as the grinding of stone against stone echoed through the cavern. James placed a reassuring hand on her neck, though he felt far from calm himself. The foal stepped confidently through the opening, its light revealing a smaller chamber that took their breath away. Unlike the natural cavern they'd been in, this space was clearly constructed, perfectly circular, with a domed ceiling covered in the same glowing symbols. In the center stood a raised platform of some crystalline material, emanating a soft blue light. "This isn't a natural formation," Dr. Whitaker stated the obvious, her scientific worldview visibly crumbling as she took in the scene. "This was built by someone or something." The foal approached the platform, its chirps taking on a new cadence, almost like speech. When it stepped onto the crystal surface, the light intensified dramatically, and the symbols on the walls and ceiling began to move, rearranging themselves into new patterns. "It's responding to the foal," Dr. Patel observed, "like it was designed for it, or others like it." James moved closer, drawn by something he couldn't articulate. "The question is, who built this, and how did the foal know it was here?" "Perhaps a better question," Dr. Whitaker said quietly, "is whether the foal was simply born at Willow Creek by chance. Or if it was sent there deliberately." The foal turned to look at them, those intelligent blue eyes seeming to hold answers to questions they hadn't even formulated yet. It chirped once more, the sound echoing strangely in the constructed chamber, before the crystal platform beneath its hooves began to project a three-dimensional image into the air above it, a map of stars unlike any constellation pattern they recognized. The star map rotated slowly above the crystal platform, casting ethereal shadows across the awe-struck faces of the humans gathered in the chamber. No one spoke for several moments, the magnitude of what they were witnessing rendering them temporarily speechless. Sophie was the first to break the silence. "But that's not our solar system," she said, pointing to a configuration of stars orbiting what appeared to be a binary star system, two suns circling each other in a celestial dance. "Not any star system in our astronomical catalogues," Dr. Whitaker confirmed, her voice uncharacteristically small. The resolute scientist who had maintained skepticism through extraordinary events was finally confronting something that shattered her entire framework of understanding. The foal chirped and the map shifted, zooming in on one particular planet, a world with twin moons and swirling patterns of blue and green across its surface. Small points of light appeared on the planet, pulsing in the same rhythm as the foal's markings. "It's showing us." "Its home," James suggested, hardly believing his own words. "Or the home of its species," Dr. Patel amended, his scientific training asserting itself even in this impossible moment. "This changes everything we know about life in the universe." The foal chirped again, more insistently, and the projection changed. Now it showed what appeared to be a timeline, symbols and images flowing in sequence. A vessel of some kind, traveling between the distant star system and Earth, arrival dates, marked in a numbering system they couldn't decipher, but spanning what seemed to be millennia. "They've been coming here," Elizabeth breathed. her hand unconsciously reaching for Luna, who stood calmly watching the display for thousands of years. "Not just coming here," Dr. Whitaker said, studying the images with intensity. "Look at this sequence. It shows interaction with Earth species, plants, animals." "Horses," James finished, as the projection displayed unmistakable equine forms. "They've been, what? Studying them, modifying them." The foal moved in a circle on the platform, and the projection shifted again to show what appeared to be a sophisticated vessel crash landing in a mountainous region that looked disturbingly familiar. "The Alleghenies," Elizabeth confirmed, recognizing the topography. "Recently, judging by the modern forest patterns." "How recently?" James asked, a theory forming in his mind. Dr. Patel had pulled out a tablet and was comparing the star map to astronomical databases. "Now, I can't pinpoint the exact system, but based on the stellar positioning, this region of space would be approximately 40 light-years from Earth in the direction of the Lyra constellation." "The timing," James pressed, his heart racing. When would this crash have happened? The foal answered before anyone else could, projecting a clear image of Earth's moon phases with a date format they recognized. 11 months ago. That's, Elizabeth calculated quickly. That would be when Luna was bred, or when we thought she was bred. The implications stunned them all into silence again. Luna hadn't mated with a stallion. She had somehow been implanted with an alien embryo, perhaps by survivors of the crash seeking to preserve their kind. But why a horse? Sophie asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. And why use Luna as a surrogate? The foal chirped, and the projection showed a comparison between equine DNA and what must have been its own species' genetic structure. Despite the alien symbols, the similarity was clear even to non-scientists, key genetic markers that allowed for compatibility. Their biology is compatible enough with equines to allow for successful gestation. Dr. Patel said, professional excitement momentarily overriding the existential implications. It's extraordinary, convergent evolution across galaxies. Or not coincidental at all, Dr. Whitaker suggested. If they've been visiting and interacting with Earth species for thousands of years, James approached the foal, which was watching him with those intelligent blue eyes. Are you trying to contact others? Is that why you led us here? The creature's response was interrupted by a distant sound that echoed through the outer cavern, voices, and the clatter of equipment. They've found us, Elizabeth whispered, moving quickly to the chamber entrance. They must have rappelled across the chasm. How? Dr. Patel demanded. It's pitch black out there, and that gap was at least 6 feet wide. They came prepared, Elizabeth replied grimly. Night vision? Climbing gear? Probably military or specialized contractors? James made a swift decision. We need to close this chamber, hide any evidence of what we've found. And go where? Sophie asked, panic edging into her voice. We're trapped in a cave system with only one known exit, the foal chirped urgently, stepping off the crystal platform. The stellar projection vanished immediately, plunging the chamber into relative darkness, illuminated only by the creature's own glow and Dr. Whitaker's lantern. I think it wants us to follow it again, James said, noticing how the foal was moving toward the back wall of the chamber, where a narrow fissure was barely visible in the rock. Luna nickered softly, moving to join her unusual offspring. The mare's calm acceptance of the situation continued to astonish James, almost as if she understood more than any of them realized. We don't have much choice, Dr. Whitaker said, hurriedly packing her equipment. Those voices are getting closer. Elizabeth touched the wall near the hidden door they'd entered through. How do we close this? We can't leave it open for them to find. As if in response to her question, the foal turned and stamped its hoof once on the chamber floor. The grinding sound resumed as the stone door began to slowly close. Dr. Patel barely managed to grab the last of their supplies before the entrance sealed completely, leaving no visible seam in the rock wall. "Now we're really trapped," Sophie said, her voice tight with fear. No," James replied, pointing to where the foal was now standing by the narrow fissure. "It's showing us another way." The fissure proved to be the entrance to a tunnel, tight but navigable even for Luna. The group moved single file, guided only by the foal's glow as it led them deeper into the mountain. The air grew noticeably cooler, with a strange mineral scent none of them recognized. "Any idea where this leads, Doctor?" Whitaker asked Elizabeth, who knew the area best. "None," Elizabeth admitted. "The documented caves don't extend this far. This passage shouldn't exist." After what felt like an eternity of claustrophobic travel, the tunnel began to widen, eventually opening into another chamber, this one clearly natural, with a high ceiling from which water dripped into a pool below. But what caught their attention was a faint glow emanating from the far side of the chamber, different from the foal's light. Something metallic reflected the glow, a curved surface partially embedded in the cave wall. "Is that—" Sophie couldn't finish her sentence. "Part of a ship," Dr. Patel confirmed, his voice a mixture of awe and disbelief. "The ship from the projection." The foal approached the wreckage, its chirps taking on a mournful quality. It pressed its muzzle against the metallic surface, and the blue-silver markings along its body pulsed in what seemed like a predetermined sequence. In response, a section of the wreckage slid open, revealing an interior space filled with technology beyond anything they had ever seen. Organic-looking controls melded seamlessly with crystalline structures similar to the platform in the previous chamber. "It's activating something," Dr. Whitaker observed as lights began to flicker within the damaged vessel. A holographic display appeared above what must have been a control console, showing symbols similar to those they'd seen in the star map chamber. The foal chirped at the display, and to everyone's shock, the symbols rearranged themselves into English letters. "Emergency beacon activated." "It's sending a signal," James realized aloud, "calling for help." "From where?" Elizabeth asked. "That star system is 40 light-years away. Even at the speed of light, a signal would take—" "Unless they have technology we can't comprehend," Dr. Patel interrupted. "Which, given everything we've seen, seems increasingly likely." The display changed again. "Signal confirmed. Arrival estimated 3 hours." 3 hours? Sophie's voice cracked. "Something is coming here in 3 hours." James looked at the foal, which had turned to face them, its blue eyes seeming to hold both apology and resolve. For the first time, he fully grasped that they were dealing not just with an unusual creature, but with a sentient being from another world, an infant of its kind, yet already possessing knowledge and abilities far beyond human understanding. "You led us here to protect you until they could come," he said softly to the foal, "to keep you safe from those who would exploit you." The foal chirped once, a sound James now interpreted as affirmation. A new message appeared on the display: "Caution, humans approaching chamber location." "They're getting close to the hidden chamber," Elizabeth translated unnecessarily. "If they find a way to open it, they'll find the star map," Dr. Whitaker finished, "and potentially a way to locate this chamber too." James made a decision that went against everything his scientific training had taught him, but felt right in his heart. "We need to protect this location and the foal until help arrives, whatever that means." Before anyone could respond, a final message appeared on the display. This one directed specifically at them. You must choose. Remain as witnesses or depart with memory adjustment. The implications of that message hung in the air like a physical weight. In 3 hours, they would either become part of something that would forever change humanity's understanding of its place in the universe, or they would walk away, their memories of these extraordinary events erased. Outside, the voices of their pursuers grew closer. Memory adjustment, Sophie echoed, her scientific curiosity warring with evident alarm. That's essentially mind-wiping. More likely, a targeted neural block of specific memories, Dr. Patel theorized, studying the message with professional detachment despite the personal implications. Similar to how certain trauma patients can lose specific memory segments while retaining overall cognitive function. That's not the point, Elizabeth interjected sharply. They're asking if we want to remember this or not. If we want to be part of whatever happens next. The chamber fell silent, except for Luna's occasional soft nickering as she nuzzled her extraordinary foal. James found himself wondering if the mare would be given the same choice, or if her memories of carrying and birthing this interstellar visitor would simply be erased without consultation. Dr. Whitaker had been uncharacteristically quiet, but now she spoke, her voice steady. From a scientific perspective, this discovery represents the most significant moment in human history. Evidence of intelligent extraterrestrial life, advanced technology, and apparent long-term interaction with Earth species. She removed her glasses, pinching the bridge of her nose, and we're being asked to potentially forget it all. From the ship's remains, the holographic display updated. Pursuers, 28 humans. Military designation. Weapons detected. They're not just researchers, James said grimly. They're armed. Which means they're not planning to study the foal, Elizabeth concluded. They're planning to capture it, or worse. The foal chirped urgently, its markings pulsing more rapidly. It approached James, pressing its muzzle against his hand as it had done in the forest. Once again, he felt that strange connection, impressions rather than words flowing into his consciousness. It's showing me something, James said, his eyes unfocusing slightly. There are more like it, not many, but scattered across different worlds. They're observers, researchers. They study developing species, life patterns across galaxies. Xenobiologists, Dr. Patel murmured. Like us, but on a cosmic scale. The foal maintained contact, and James continued translating the impressions. They've been visiting Earth for thousands of years, monitoring but rarely interfering. This foal, it wasn't supposed to be born here. Its parent was injured in the crash, needed a compatible host to preserve the genetic line. Luna, Elizabeth said softly, stroking the mare's neck. So they chose her? Yes, but they didn't abandon the foal. They've been monitoring, waiting until it developed enough to activate the beacon. James blinked as the connection faded, the foal stepping back. They're coming to rescue it. Take it home. Another message appeared on the display. 2 hours, 48 minutes until arrival. Decision required. Dr. Whitaker straightened her shoulders. I'm staying. Whatever happens, I need to remember this, to know. The risks could be enormous, Dr. Patel cautioned. If these military forces discover we've aided an extraterrestrial being, we could face charges of treason, espionage, or worse, disappear into some black site research facility, Sophie added, hugging herself. Elizabeth checked the ammunition in her rifle, a gesture that reminded them all that their situation involved immediate physical danger, not just philosophical dilemmas. Those people out there won't hesitate to use force. We need to decide quickly. The sounds of their pursuers had grown more organized, systematic sweeps through the cave system, closing in on their location with professional efficiency. James knelt beside the foal, which watched him with those intelligent blue eyes. "Can you hide us? Mask our presence somehow, like you did with the heat signatures?" The foal chirped once, moving to the center of the chamber, where it began to glow more intensely. The light spread outward in concentric rings, washing over each of them in turn. James felt a slight tingling sensation as the light passed through him, neither pleasant nor unpleasant, but undeniably alien. "What did it just do?" Sophie asked, examining her hands as if expecting to see some visible change. "Perception filter," Dr. Patel suggested, the scientist in him still cataloging and theorizing despite their dire circumstances. "It might bend light around us, or possibly influence the brains of observers to simply not register our presence." "Whatever it is," Elizabeth said from her position near the chamber entrance, "we're about to find out if it works." "They're close. I can hear them in the adjacent tunnel." The foal returned to Luna's side, its glow dimming to a subtle shimmer. It chirped softly, and Luna lowered herself to the ground, lying down for the first time since they'd entered the cave system. The foal curled up beside her, looking for all the world like an ordinary, if unusually colored, foal resting with its mother. Except for the faint blue-silver glow and the crashed alien spacecraft behind them, James thought wryly. "If we're staying," he said quietly to the others, "we need to be absolutely still and silent." No matter what happens next, they arranged themselves around the chamber, finding positions where they could observe without being immediately visible from the entrance. Dr. Whitaker and Dr. Patel continued documenting everything with small, silent cameras, while Sophie monitored the holographic display, which now showed a countdown timer alongside a diagram of the cave system with moving dots representing their pursuers. 2 hours and 36 minutes until arrival. The wait was excruciating. James found his mind racing through the implications of everything they'd discovered. If beings from another world had been visiting Earth for millennia, how many other supposed myths and legends might actually be based on encounters with these observers? How many miracles or divine signs throughout human history might have been misinterpreted extraterrestrial events? His philosophical musings were interrupted by the sound of voices and flashlight beams penetrating the tunnel that led to their chamber. "Heat scan shows nothing in this direction," a male voice reported crisply. "Check anyway," came the reply, a woman's voice, authoritative and cold. "The readings have been inconsistent since we entered the system." 2 figures appeared at the chamber entrance, clad in black tactical gear with no identifying insignia. They swept powerful flashlights across the space, the beams passing directly over each member of the group without pause, as if they were completely invisible. James held his breath, watching in astonishment as one of the tactical team walked within 3 feet of Luna and the foal without showing any sign of recognition. The mare remained unnaturally still, clearly under some influence from her offspring. "Chamber clear," the man reported, turning back toward the tunnel. "Just another dead end. Keep moving," the woman ordered. "We have satellite confirmation that the targets entered this mountain. They're here somewhere." After the operatives disappeared back into the tunnel, Sophie released a shuddering breath. "That was... I can't believe they didn't see us." "Incredible technology," Dr. Whitaker murmured, still recording. "A selective perception manipulation at that level suggests capabilities far beyond our current understanding of neuroscience and physics." The holographic display updated. "Pursuers diverted, temporary solution only." And then, 2 hours, 11 minutes until arrival. Final decision required on witness status. "I've made my decision," James said quietly. "I'm staying. I need to see this through." "As am I, Doctor," Whitaker confirmed, never looking up from her documentation. Dr. Patel hesitated, his practical nature at war with scientific curiosity. "The implications for my career, my family, but to forget something of this magnitude." He sighed deeply. "I'll stay too. Some knowledge is worth the risk." "I'm staying," Sophie said firmly. "How could I possibly walk away from this?" All eyes turned to Elizabeth, who had been silent during this exchange. She stroked Luna's neck gently, her expression unreadable. "Luna trusts it," she said finally, "and I trust Luna. But my concern isn't just about us witnessing this event. It's about what happens after. When these military teams report back, they'll keep searching. They might find this chamber eventually. The evidence, the ship." The foal chirped, and the display changed. "All evidence will be removed upon retrieval." "Vessel recovery protocol activated. They're planning to take the ship too," James translated. "Leave no trace behind." Elizabeth nodded slowly. "Then I'm staying as well. Some things are more important than personal safety." With their decisions made, a strange calm settled over the group. The holographic display continued its countdown, while also tracking the movements of the search teams, who were now focusing their efforts on another section of the cave system. 1 hour and 40 minutes until arrival. Dr. Whitaker approached James, speaking softly so the others wouldn't hear. "James, have you considered what this means for your career, for all our careers? If we remember this, but can never speak of it, we'd be living with a truth we could never share," he acknowledged, "at least not without being discredited, possibly institutionalized. Is that a burden you're prepared to carry?" James looked at the foal, now sleeping peacefully against Luna's side. In just 2 days, this creature had completely transformed his understanding of life, of the universe itself. How could he possibly choose to forget that? "Some truths are worth protecting," he said finally, "even if they have to remain private." Dr. Whitaker nodded, seemingly satisfied with his answer. She returned to her documentation while James checked on Luna, who remained remarkably calm despite the extraordinary circumstances. 1 hour and 12 minutes until arrival. The relative peace was shattered by a sudden rumbling that shook the entire chamber, dislodging small stones from the ceiling. The foal jerked awake, chirping in alarm. "Explosives!" Elizabeth identified immediately. "They're blasting new passages, trying to access sealed sections of the cave." The holographic display flashed urgent warnings. "Structural integrity compromised. Chamber seal failure imminent." "That they're going to break through to us," Sophie realized, panic edging into her voice. The foal stood quickly, its markings pulsing with unprecedented intensity. It moved to the crashed vessel, pressing its muzzle against the control panel. New information appeared on the display. Emergency protocol initiated. Temporal acceleration engaged. "Temporal acceleration," Dr. Patel read aloud. Is it saying?" Before he could finish, the air in the chamber began to shimmer and distort. James felt a strange sensation, as if his body was simultaneously moving very quickly and standing completely still. The countdown on the display began to accelerate, minutes passing in seconds. "It's manipulating time," Dr. Whitaker whispered, awestruck. "Accelerating our local temporal field to bring forward the arrival." The rumbling from the explosion seemed to slow and then freeze entirely, like a paused video. Only their small group remained in normal motion within what appeared to be a bubble of altered time. The display now showed just 7 minutes until arrival. The foal turned to them, its blue eyes somehow older, wiser than before. It chirped softly, and James felt a final communication, not just impressions this time, but a clear concept. Thank you. Outside their temporal bubble, the mountain began to glow. The mountain didn't just glow, it sang. A harmonic resonance penetrated the stone itself, vibrating through their bodies like the world's most powerful tuning fork. Outside their temporal bubble, the frozen figures of military personnel were bathed in blue-silver light that poured through cracks in the cave ceiling. "It's coming through the rock," Dr. Patel observed, his scientific detachment finally giving way to naked wonder. As if solid matter means nothing to them. The holographic display now showed only seconds remaining on the countdown. The foal stood tall, its posture alert and expectant, while Luna watched with what James could only describe as maternal pride, an emotion no veterinary textbook would ever attribute to a horse, yet unmistakably present in her eyes. "Should we do something?" Sophie asked uncertainly. "Prepare somehow?" Dr. Whitaker shook her head, still recording everything. "I think we're merely witnesses now. This is their moment." As the countdown reached 0, the chamber's ceiling seemed to dissolve, not crumbling away, but transforming into particles of light that drifted upward, revealing a perfect circular opening to the night sky above. Through this opening descended a vessel unlike anything human imagination had conceived, not a craft so much as a living light formation that pulsed with the same rhythm as the foal's markings. James found himself unable to properly perceive its shape or dimensions. His mind simply couldn't process what his eyes were seeing. It was as if the vessel existed partially in dimensions beyond the 3 he could comprehend. "Incredible," Dr. Whitaker breathed. "Our brains literally can't interpret what we're seeing. We're like medieval peasants trying to understand a nuclear reactor." The vessel, if that word even applied, settled into the chamber, somehow accommodating itself to the space without disturbing anything. The frozen military personnel remained completely unaware, caught in their paused moment of destructive pursuit. A section of the light formation shifted, and 3 figures emerged. Like the vessel, they defied easy description, vaguely equine in overall structure, but with proportions and features that seemed to shift and flow. Their bodies glowed with the same blue-silver light as the foal, but with complex patterns that suggested greater age and development. The foal chirped excitedly, bounding toward them. One of the beings, perhaps a parent, lowered its head to touch muzzles with the foal in what was clearly a reunion. The contact produced a brief flash of light, and the foal's markings momentarily aligned with the adult's pattern before settling back into their original configuration. "They're communicating," Sophie whispered, "sharing information through some kind of direct neural or energy transfer." The largest of the 3 beings then turned its attention to Luna, approaching the mare with deliberate grace. Luna showed no fear, rising to her feet to meet the alien visitor. When their muzzles touched, a gentle glow enveloped Luna briefly before fading. "It's thanking her," James realized aloud, acknowledging her role in protecting the foal. After this exchange, the being turned toward the humans. Its eyes, if they could be called that, were pools of swirling blue energy that seemed to look through rather than at them. James felt a presence touch his mind, vastly more sophisticated than the foal's communications had been. Images and concepts cascaded through his consciousness, star systems, civilizations, the vast tapestry of life spreading across galaxies. He understood, in that moment, that the universe teemed with intelligence in forms humans had never imagined, and that Earth was part of a carefully monitored developmental zone. One world among many being gently shepherded toward a greater cosmic awareness. From the expressions on the others' faces, James knew they were experiencing similar revelations. Dr. Whitaker had tears streaming down her cheeks, while Dr. Patel stood with hands pressed to his temples as if trying to physically contain the flood of information. Elizabeth and Sophie held onto each other for support, overwhelmed by the communion. As quickly as it had begun, the mental contact ended. The being stepped back, returning to its companions and the waiting foal. The holographic display activated one final time. Memory decision confirmed. You will remember. Gratitude extended. Observation continues. We will meet again when Earth is ready. The smallest of the three beings, not the foal, but another juvenile of its kind, approached the damaged ship embedded in the cave wall. It touched the vessel with its muzzle, and the entire structure began to dissolve into particles of light that flowed upward through the ceiling opening. They're removing all evidence, Dr. Patel said. But just as they promised, the foal turned back one last time, trotting to where James stood. It pressed its muzzle against his hand in what he now recognized as its form of farewell. The touch conveyed a final impression, not of alien landscapes or cosmic knowledge, but something simpler, hope. Hope for humanity's future, for the day when their civilizations might meet openly. Then it rejoined its kind, the 3 adults and 2 juveniles gathering in a formation that pulsed with coordinated light. The foal, which James now understood was actually an infant of a species whose name could not be pronounced in any human language, gave one final chirp that echoed through the chamber like a blessing. The beings and their vessel became pure light, rising through the opening they had created. As they ascended, the temporal bubble around the humans began to dissolve, the frozen military personnel slowly resuming their normal motion as time realigned. "They're gone," Sophie whispered, staring at the ceiling which had somehow reformed itself, leaving no trace of the opening. "And we're about to have company," Elizabeth warned, nodding toward the tunnel where shouts and footsteps were growing louder. James checked the chamber, the alien ship, the holographic display. All evidence of extraterrestrial contact had vanished completely. Only Luna remained as proof that anything unusual had occurred, and she looked like any ordinary mare. The glow that had briefly touched her now faded. "What do we tell them?" Dr. Patel asked urgently. "The truth," Dr. Whitaker said with surprising calm. "Or at least, a version of it they can accept." The military team burst into the chamber, weapons raised. The woman James had heard earlier, clearly the leader, stepped forward, her face a mask of controlled fury. "Federal agents," she announced, though her uniform bore no agency identification. "You are all in violation of multiple national security protocols." "Where is the biological specimen?" James stepped forward, placing himself between the agents and Luna. "There is no specimen," he said evenly. "Just a perfectly normal foal that died shortly after birth. A rare genetic mutation. Nothing more." "We tracked an unknown biological signature to this location," the woman insisted. "Our readings showed..." "Showed what exactly?" Dr. Whitaker interrupted, her scientific authority asserting itself. "Anomalous heat patterns from a limestone cave system known for its unusual mineral composition. Electromagnetic disturbances common in this geological formation." The agent faltered slightly. "We have satellite confirmation of a group of scientists tracking an unusual equine birth," Dr. Patel added smoothly, "which sadly ended in the foal's death due to congenital abnormalities." "Then where's the body?" the agent demanded. Elizabeth gestured toward a small alcove where they had stored some of their supplies. "We were preparing to transport it back to the university for proper examination when your team started blasting the cave system. We barely escaped with our lives." The agents searched the chamber thoroughly, finding nothing to contradict their story. Their sophisticated equipment, which had so confidently tracked the foal's unique signature, now registered only background radiation and the normal biological signatures of the humans and Luna. After nearly an hour of questioning and searching, the lead agent finally lowered her weapon, frustration evident in her posture. "This incident remains classified," she warned. "None of you are to discuss what happened here without proper authorization. We'll be in contact." As the military team finally withdrew, Sophie collapsed against the wall in relief. "They believed us. They had no choice," Dr. Whitaker said. "All evidence is gone. Our word against their malfunctioning equipment." "But we know," James said quietly, stroking Luna's neck. "We remember." The journey back to civilization was surprisingly anticlimactic. They emerged from the cave system as dawn broke over the mountains, the world continuing its normal rhythms as if nothing extraordinary had occurred. Sheriff Davis was waiting at the forest edge with fresh vehicles, having been contacted by Elizabeth once they regained cell service. "Did you find what you were looking for?" he asked simply, his weathered face betraying nothing. The five of them exchanged glances, a silent agreement passing between them. "We found answers," Elizabeth replied carefully, "though perhaps not the ones we expected." In the weeks that followed, each of them processed the experience in their own way. Dr. Whitaker returned to her university position, but shifted her research focus toward astrobiology and SETI programs. Dr. Patel published a carefully worded paper on theoretical xenogenetics that raised eyebrows but broke no confidences. Sophie decided to pursue advanced degrees in astrophysics rather than veterinary science. Elizabeth converted part of Willow Creek stables into a small observatory, spending countless nights scanning the stars above the Alleghenies. And Luna, examined thoroughly by James, showed no physical evidence of her extraordinary surrogacy, though she would sometimes stare at the night sky with an awareness that seemed beyond her species. As for James, he continued his veterinary practice, caring for the ordinary horses, cattle, and pets of Bedford County. But each night, he would step outside his small rural house and look up at the stars, particularly toward the Lyra constellation, with a newfound understanding of humanity's place in the universe. 6 months after the encounter, James received a small package with no return address. Inside was a flash drive containing a single file, a composite of the recordings Dr. Whitaker had made in the cave, edited to remove any classified information but preserving the essential truth of what they had witnessed. Attached was a note in Dr. Whitaker's precise handwriting, "For when the world is ready. Until then, we keep the watch." That night, James dreamed of a blue-silver foal galloping among the stars, and woke with the unshakable certainty that humanity's first officially recognized contact with extraterrestrial intelligence was not a matter of if, but when. And somewhere, 40 light-years away, a young being with memories of Earth and a special connection to a Pennsylvania veterinarian was growing, learning, and perhaps anticipating the day when it might return to the little blue planet that had briefly been its home. The truth, as James had come to understand, was both more wondrous and more complex than anyone could have imagined when he first entered that warm stable on a stormy night and asked in shock, "What creature is this?"